Hey everybody, it's time for another update on living with an EV, specifically my EV6 GT. I bought it 18 months ago and I've got 35,000 miles on it now. And a lot of people were curious, how's that going to go? How's that going to hold up? How are you going to like that? Well, it's held up great. It's gone well. I absolutely love it. Originally, when I bought it, I had it on Michelin Pilot Sport All Season 4s. Now I have it on Cross Climate 2s. They did absolutely amazing last winter. A lot of y'all are curious about the efficiency drop. I lost about 7.5% efficiency to them, which in my opinion, that's a very good trade. And handling is a little bit softer than the Pilot Sport All Season 4s. They are quieter. And traction from a dig really didn't change a whole lot. My 60-foot times went from 1.86 to 1.88 to 1.87 to 1.89. Another thing I want to talk about is I live on a gravel road and I don't have any chips on these fender flares, which Kia did a very good job designing this car so that it did not chip the fender flares. I do have some stone guards, mud guards that I bought off Amazon. They work great. And I did PPF the bottom of that rocker panel some, but not the fender flares of the door and this back here. So that's all just due to the design of the car being excellent regarding that. I know a lot of the Teslas have trouble with stone chips on that rear quarter. Did get a rock take out this camera here. So I bought one off eBay, an OEM part, had the Kia dealership install it. It was about a $600 oopsie, or bad luck, or whatever you want to call it. Not bad, could have been a lot worse. So how does the rest of this thing hold up? I think it holds up really well. You can see here, we've averaged 2.9 miles per kilowatt hour over 35,097 miles. These are our seats. They're suede-like material, so that discoloration is just the way the pile is laying. Seats have held up extremely well, as has the steering wheel and stitching on it. The one area that has held up relatively poor are the door cards. They're hard plastic. You can buy some felt to place on them, and I might end up doing that. That's the only area this car really shows wear. Even the suede armrests, pretty good in that regard. Build quality of it has been absolutely phenomenal. Right up there with my Toyota and Japanese Mazdas. One thing I will note is that the use of piano black is still a thing. I wish we could get away from that with modern automobiles. Please, please stop using piano black. So what all's gone wrong with it? Well, I've needed a couple of software updates. One was the charging port would get hot and charging would cease. Got an update for that. That no longer happens. It just throttles back charging in accordance with the temperature. Another update was for the integrated charge control unit. Kia had some issues with their code in that was causing them to have a high voltage condition that would torpedo the unit and cause issues. I got that update, as well as the battery charging issue. The 12-volt battery wasn't charging on some of these cars very well, so they changed the charging logic for it. I never had that issue, nor did I have an ICCU issue, and those were prevented. Let's see, I had a couple of shocks or front struts replaced because of a popping sound from the front end that they could not track down. Turns out, I think it was just some water and soap from the car wash getting in the sway bar bushings and popping going over bumps. So no real issue there. It was just that dealership kind of throwing parts at it and lining the pockets with warranty work, in my opinion. But overall, it's been absolutely reliable. Does phenomenal in ice, snow, rain. It's fast. My quarter mile times actually dropped, sadly, about half a mile per hour, and about half of a tenth with the Cross Climate 2s because of the higher rolling resistance. And so it's running about an 1147 to 1150 at 119 to 120 miles an hour as it sits. Half mile times are mid to low 18s at 141 to 142 miles per hour. And overall, it's just a great performer. I live down a 1 mile gravel road, and like I mentioned, the design of the car just keeps the rocks off of the fenders. They also chip and sealed 10 miles of road near me, and I drove back and forth on that a lot, and no issues from it. So Kia did a really good job with the real-world dynamics of this car, in my opinion. So what about range? I know a lot of people complain about that. Well, in the winter, charged to 80%, I was getting 140 miles real-world range in single-digit temps. In the summer, I get about 185 real-world miles of range charged to 80%. Charging it to 100% in good weather, you're looking at 240 to 260 miles. And range just hasn't been an issue with this car for me. The fast charging is extremely fast. On a road trip yesterday, I capped out at 236 kilowatts an hour. Pretty impressive. But anyway, overall, the car has held up amazingly. I've had no real issues with it. It is underrated from the factory by Kia with regard to performance and range. And that's a pretty cool thing to see. So there you have it. That's 18 months and 35,000 miles in my EV6 GT. And I hope that this has helped y'all if you're considering specifically this car or another EV. Anyway, go out there, whatever you drive, whatever you do, be safe and have fun.